Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we have got an insane internal document here from investor.activision.com, which, by the way, if you want to have the original source material, I will always link to it down below for you if you would like to pull this up on your end. But the headline here, Diablo 4 crosses 666 million in sales within 5 days of launch, which sets a new Blizzard all-time record. Now, just for a little bit of context on that, I've been a YouTuber, content creator for a few years for a game in the mobile industry that is thought of as one of the most heavily monetized pay-to-win games. So I have some experience covering games with lots of revenue. I have a channel called Chosen Plays where I've also covered Raid Shadow Legends for like 4 years, since the very early days of its release. And Raid Shadow Legends is like barely at that. Raid Shadow Legends has been a huge game and a heavily monetized pay-to-win game, which has been very successful. And I want to say it's around like 800 million in revenue, and Raid's been a thing for 4 years at a high level. So for me to see that Diablo 4 is going to hit like probably pretty close to 800 million by already, I mean, we're already past 5 days. So Diablo 4 is going to pass Raid Shadow Legends in what, like 12 days? I mean, just absolutely insanity to see this. And then also, for some context compared to Diablo 3, it's kind of hard to get some perfectly concrete data, but Diablo 3, from the best I can kind of research it, hit about 6.5 million sales in its first week, which at the time was crazy and also massively record-setting, because that would have put Diablo 3 somewhere between like 350 and 400 million in revenue within that first week. And it looks like Diablo 4, this isn't even the first week. Diablo 4 is going to probably be about exactly 700 million in its first week. So even if we call it 700 million in the first week for Diablo 4, and we'll go with a high-ish estimate, like a solid estimate for Diablo 3, and we'll call it 400 million, that means that Diablo 4 is going to make $300 more million than Diablo 3 in just its first week, which, if we go ahead and pull up the trusty inflation calculator to compare 2011 to 2023, 400 million, the equivalent would be about 540 million. So if Diablo 4 was above 540 million, it would technically be a bigger success than Diablo 3, at least in the first week. So given that Diablo 4 is at about 700 million, this is a categorical success for Blizzard. So if you're worried that Blizzard is going to be disincentivized to support this game long term, worry no more. When they see numbers like this, they are really going to want to pump resources into cultivating the community enough for them to be able to have long-term battle passes, and not only that, but also probably come out with 1 or 2 expansions. Because this means that we're looking at what is probably going to be easily, conservatively, a billion-dollar game here in Diablo 4. And there's really only been a handful of billion-dollar games. You're talking about games like Minecraft, Fortnite, PUBG, Call of Duty, GTA, stuff like that. The list is not that big. There might be some mobile titans like Genshin Impact or something. Maybe something like Pokemon Go might be on that list, but the list is small. It's probably like 10 to 12 games that have ever hit that billion-dollar mark, and Diablo 4 is going to be keeping in that company. And it's hard to say like exactly to get concrete numbers, but let's just say for simple math, by now, as of me recording this, that Diablo 4 has hit 700 million in revenues. Now, it's a little bit difficult to pin that down to an exact number of copies sold, because you can buy it for like anywhere from $70 to $100. But just conservatively, if the average price of each sale was $80, like if it skewed a little bit towards that cheaper side, you're looking at somewhere between like 8 and 9 million copies sold in the first week. So yeah, it's not surprising that we've got this headline right here. Diablo 4 had the best selling opening in Blizzard history. Yeah, when you're talking about numbers like this, it is not a surprise. And it just goes to show you how rabid people are for a good RPG to come out. It's been so long since Diablo 3, and even Path of Exile is like 8 or 9 years old at this point. So people are really salivating, and they are really, really hungry to get a new ARPG that's hitting the scene. So honestly, this is pretty encouraging. I know everybody kind of sees the mobile marketing, pay to win stuff kind of take over, and then like the battleground type stuff or the MOBA type stuff, you know, your League of Legends and your Fortnite and your PUBG and your Raid Shadow Legends and all these things kind of pulling around. And it makes you kind of wonder if some of the more PC kind of grinder games are going to go by the wayside, because we've seen that a little bit with RTS. We've seen games like StarCraft and Age of Empires 4 and stuff really struggle to maintain large core audiences and captivate player bases for a long term. So this means that ARPG is not going anywhere, which means obviously we're gonna get some crazy numbers in here. We've got players have already played more than 276 million hours, and then they've also got some bullet points here: 276 billion demons killed since early access. So yeah, 35 times the global population. Also, players have been vanquished 316 million times, which means if we go by the average estimated number of sales that we got from talking earlier, that the average person, this is how you can figure out if you're dying too often, the average person has died about 35 times in games. So hardcore players in shambles, that means hardcore is going to be very difficult if the average person has already died 35 times. And then over, how many times have I died? Probably. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've played a lot and I've been grinding. I've been trying to like solo lanes on World Tier 4 and stuff. I've probably died, I don't know, 50 or 60 times, because I'm always kind of trying to max out like the nightmare dungeons or stuff. Probably something like that. Over 5 million of those vanquishings were at the hands of the butcher. Okay. And then players have created a party with friends over 166 million times. And then this is pretty crazy: 163 players have made it to the maximum level in hardcore mode. And remember, Blizzard was doing that first, getting to 1,000. And remember, Blizzard was going to do that reward for the first 1,000 players that get to max level on hardcore. So honestly, like, this means if you have a good group and you want to go after that, you probably could still be one of the 1,000 people that get onto that list. Now, I said a long time ago, before the game came out, that I wasn't going to pursue being on that list because I feel like I have an unfair advantage being a Blizzard partner and having access to kind of play the game and practice it and stuff before it came out. But if I wasn't a Blizzard partner, if I read this, I would absolutely probably go try and be one of the 1,000 people that reach level 100 on hardcore, because only 163 people have done it as of now. The number's probably up to like 190 or 200 as of me recording this, but like 80% of those spots are still up for grabs. So yeah, pretty insane if you ask me. And honestly, that makes me excited, because like Diablo 4 has pledged that they're not going to go the pay to win route. They're not going to have like selling XP boosts or selling items in game where you can like sell elixirs that give you insane boost to your XP or your stats or anything. So they're just going with the normal sticker price. And this proves that model can still work. You don't have to do like the mobile game, Raid Shadow Legends, Gacha game model. You can still do the traditional box price and then just go with putting out a good game, and you will make money. I don't know how much money that this game cost to develop, but I'm gonna guess it was probably like between development and marketing. I'm estimating here, don't hold me to this. I'm gonna guess we're at somewhere between like 75 and 140 million, somewhere in there in terms of like total investment from Blizzard to develop the game and market it and all of that. As of right now, it's got to be somewhere around 100 million, I would think. To be at 700 million already, absolutely insane. And I think it bodes well for the future, because this game is going to get a lot of support. There's definitely some things that need to be rounded out, and I just want you all to remember that Diablo 3 was tragic on release. It was not a good game at all, and it was not received anywhere near as good as Diablo 4 has been as far as its first week. So even though there is some things that need to be addressed in Diablo 4, I do think that Diablo 4 is going to round out into a really solid game that can be very robust for a long time, as long as Blizzard keeps putting in the work to make that a thing. So yeah, I think all in all, the future is bright, and we will have to see what they're able to do for the first iteration of seasons coming later in July. But yeah, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Diablo 4 content, and I will link to this down below if you want to pull this up and browse it on your end. I appreciate all of you. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.